The planet's rarest chimp has been seized on chamber in the remotely forest of Nigeria. The Nigeria-Cameroon chimpanzee was seen at different locations during Gashaka Gumti domestic garden, increase hopes for its next surviving. Conservationists as well written the at first sight in the nation of a gigantic lizard. The garden is recognized as a domestic jewel, but its living nature is by risk of pressures such as poachers. Researchers of Chester Zoological, work in the Nigeria Domestic Garden Facility, reviewed above 1,000 box many kilometers of the domestic garden. Named for its Mount Rhine forests, savanna woodlands, and hilly grasslands, it is household to several of Western Africa's largest vanishing animals. The cameras spotty several animals how include never been written up in the region and other, love chimps, that are seldom seen. Stuart Nixon, the Africa Box Program Company Ordinator at Chester Zoological, told confirm of the locations of chimps was an essential opening. Gashaka's been recognized for lot year as possessing the largest people of the Nigeria-Cameroon chimpanzee, that is the rarest chimpanzee subtype, he told. We believe it the largest essential people, how's very why we requirement to calculate it and see which the statute of the chimpanzee is law now, how will eventually influence which we aware on the subtype in another place. The chimpanzee is vanishing through its band in Cameroon and Nigeria. Its full people is downward to less rather than 9,000 individuals, of that on 1,000 are mine to dwell during the national borders of the domestic garden. The ape many faces lot threats, of illicit poachers for bushmeat and conventional medication to losing of aerial. Living nature expert are studying new areas of the garden to get a superior concept of numbers, as down there include been no people surveys for 20 year. The cameras seized more than rather than 50,000 images of the garden's living nature among 2015 and the end of 2017. He's an unbelievable instrument to use these chamber traps and to show how the garden, that is a neglected desert, for Nigeria, yet has a very essential water reservoir of essential kind for Nigeria and Africa in general, told Stuart Nixon. The researchers were amazed to place a gigantic lizard, that is one of the rarest and low-named of the 6 kind. The scale mammals are poached for their libra, that are utilized in conventional medical, and their flesh. Not one's seen a gigantic lizard, not one though knew how they were down there, told Stuart Nixon. He's the at first recording for Nigeria as so, how key points how uncommon, how subtle and how hard they are to discover and research. Chamber traps as well found the at first photography testimony of leopards, that may do up one of the largest considerable populations in Western Africa. The African gold cat was as well seen on images. He's potential how he's the just considerable people of the gold cat leftward in Nigeria, told Stuart Nixon. Really subtle, really slight named, down there's not been lot teaching on them at all. Chester Zoo has been support Gashaka Gumti domestic garden for more than rather than 20 year, increasing their efforts newly to address increasing threats to the garden's living nature. The living nature during the garden is formally secured but several animals are at hazard of poachers. Chester Zoo is financing patrols for the rangers and provided learning in living nature tracking and protect. Yohana Sedu of the Nigerian Garden Facility and head guard of Gashaka Gumti Domestic Garden told down there were few places in Africa how can competing its impressive beautiful. Yet it survives hardly named by the World Society and by growing risk, he told. The job is help us find out more than on the secrets of one of our recent desert areas and we must go on to job along to provide its surviving for next generations. If all the beautiful were lose it would be a horrible tragic for all.